Hey, and welcome to the Old Git Does Stuff channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to make small Italian meatballs in tomato sauce. Let's get into it. Right, that's the thyme chopped up nicely. And straight in on top of the parmesan. I'm also going to put this pan on a medium heat and add the 4 tubs of passata. And to that, I'm going to take off not just the skin but the first layer of this onion and pop that in whole. This should take some of the acidity out of the passata. I'm highly assured by my good friend Niall. These onions I'm literally just going to chop in half, take off that outside bitter layer of skin. As you can see, these are only small onions. Take off that bitter layer of all of them and pop them in the processor. I'm also going to do the garlic. The garlic doesn't necessarily need twatting because it's going to be blitzed, but it really does help get that outside layer of skin off. Right, I shall see you back once I've got all of that into there and blitzed it, and I've got my 500 grams of pork mince and 1 kilo of beef mince to make the meatballs. I'm back. My pan's nicely heating up with the onion in it. I did actually put that other pot of passata in there, so that makes 5 in total. And when I washed them out, I probably added another half a pot of water. These are the onion and garlic. As you can see, they are just a puree, and that's exactly how I want it. I don't want really any bits of onion in the meatballs, and I'm going to put those with the thyme and cheese. That's onions and garlic in there. I actually loosened this up with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil because it wasn't mixing properly, so that's just got a little bit more, probably about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil in there as well. To that then I will add my 1 beaten egg, one 500 grams, 2 500 grams of beef mince, and 1 500 grams of pork mince. Then it's time just to get down and dirty with it. Now I'll just get my hands in and give this a really good mix up until that is all mixed together. And I shall see you back here when I've finished. And guess who forgot to add the oregano in? I shall put about 1/3 of a pot of oregano into the sauce and 1/3 oregano in here, and I shall save the last third to put in a little bit later in the meatballs. The title gives it away really, doesn't it? Old Git. I am an old git and I forget stuff as well as does stuff. Right, I'm back. That's nicely mixed up now, and I shall just start making the meatballs. I obviously won't make you endure the whole lot, so you just get a little bit of meat. So you get your meat in your hand and then just cup it and roll it gently into a ball. And these are about the size of a big marble, probably 1.5 centimeters across, and just pop those in. Now the Italians have a name for these tiny little meatballs, but I for the life of me can't remember what it is. So we'll just literally just cut your meat in your hand, a little bit like that, roll it into a ball and plop it in. Got lovely fresh thyme in here. I've got it grown in a bush down at the end of the garden, and people often say to me, "Old Git, how often do you trim your bush?" Well, I often go down there and give it a good trim and a shape up. It tends not to grow in the winter, and I don't know if it's because it's old or just whether it's the wrong climate.
I just wanted to say that smells really, really good.
You okay, my love?
Yes, shalom.
That was Georgia.
Hello.
This is one of her absolute favourite meals. She's requested that I make it. And this will make about 20 portions. And after we've had a feed out of it, I will just pot it up into double portions, put it in the freezer, and it's great for when you get home from school or you're just in a hurry and you can nuke the pot back up in the microwave, and the pasta's 10 minutes on the stove, so you've got a lovely meal, home cooked meal in 10 minutes really. This and my ragu, I do exactly the same, make a load of it and put it all in the freezer and just get it out when I need to. As you can see, these are lovely little balls, pop in, they don't need any more than that, they don't break up, that would just be lovely. And Georgia says it smells really good. Okay, I will, my love. Once all these balls are made, I shall put the lid on the pan, just keep it simmering and leave that for a couple of hours to cook. You can absolutely use bread in here, a couple of slices of bread, especially if they've been in the freezer, and blitz them before you put any liquidy stuff in. Well, absolutely bulk this out a little bit more, helps feed the family, helps it stretch a little bit more. This is absolutely a family meal. When I made these with Georgia, first off they were doing pirate day at school, and so we used to get the balls like this and then make little skeleton faces with them, little aliens, and we can make cannons and all sorts of things like that. And then she would have great fun fishing through them once she was eating them to see what shapes she'd made. You can make, sort of diamond shapes with them. You can make buried treasure. You can make all sorts of things with them when you're. They're just great. It's great fun to make with kids. Absolutely fantastic. This is. And there we go, we're nearly all the balls made. I'm going to plop that in there, put the lid on, leave it for a couple of hours. I'm going to add some tomato puree to that and then oregano just before the end. Or oregano, even. Depending on what part of the world you're in. There we go, last two. What should we do with these? Shall we make a little skull? What do you think? Skull? Is that like a skull or is that like an alien face? I'm not quite sure. And we'll roll this one out and make a cannon with it. There we go. up back to when Georgia was 5 or 6. There we go. About half a tube of tomato puree, and that will be good to go. Look at that, a great big pan full of meatballs that will last us in the freezer for an absolute age. Right, fantastic. Lid on, and I shall see you in a couple of hours. Hey, I'm back, and this is now done. It's been a couple of hours cooking. I'm going to fish the onion out and put to one side. That should have done its job now. And we have at least 20 portions of meatballs. I shall probably put 10 to 12 meatballs for 2 portions and freeze them up in little pots, and we should be ready. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. Georgia and I used to call them Captain's Treasure. That's all from me. See ya!